So guys, a lot of people ask me, do I like to ride with a breast collar or no breast collar? I personally like breast collars on horses. Do you have to? The answer is no, of course. I just like it because it's an added insurance policy. If my saddle happens to come loose, it's not as tight as it should have been, the saddle starts to slip off the side of the horse or move too far back, the breast collar is going to catch it and kind of keep it in better position. Where if I didn't have a breast collar and my girth was too loose, the saddle might slip underneath his belly, it might come all the way back over his back or maybe even over the front of the horse. I like this particular breast collar that we sell here at Down on Horsemanship. It's made by Martin Saddlery. It's custom made for me and my saddles. I like it because it's a little bit thicker here across the chest, okay? If it gets too thin and it starts pulling on your horse's shoulders, it'll bite into their shoulders too much. So having it a little bit wider here just gives the horse a little bit more protection. But there's certain ways you want to put on a breast collar because like anything, you can adjust it to where it's either too tight or too loose, okay? So let's start like this. Let me just put it on here so you can see. Especially a breast collar comes in handy when you're first saddling a colt for the first time. If he goes to buck or do something silly, that breast collar might just save your butt and keep that saddle in the right position, okay? Let me just move her over here. Righto. You'll notice on my Aussie saddles, I have a dedicated D-ring for it. This is why this D-ring is here, is for the breast collar. So I'll hook it up here, it's hooked up on the other side. So, when I'm adjusting a breast collar, the idea is when the saddle is in the right position, and then I hook it up underneath here, when the saddle is in the right position, you don't want the breast collar tight. Because if the saddle's in the right position, the movement of the horse's shoulder is going to be constantly pulling on that breast collar. So I basically want to get it to where I could get 4 fingers like that, just up underneath. And if I turn my hand sideways, I could get 3 fingers sideways like that. Now, if you make this way too tight, okay, you tighten this up too much, the problem with tightening it up too much is it will slowly pull your saddle too far forward. So when the horse is standing there and this is too tight, it'll restrict their air movement here. And when they start moving, it will automatically try to pull the saddle out of position. Now the opposite is true. Let's do it way too loose. When it's way too loose, especially if I loosen up the other side, that's a big pet peeve of mine as well. If it's way too loose, it's like having a back cinch that's too loose. Not only does it not work, it causes more damage than good. So now this is the opposite. This is way too loose. There's probably 6-7 inches between the breast collar and her shoulders here. See how it's just flapping around? This is dangerous and useless, okay? So as a good rule of thumb, when the saddle's in the correct position, get it to where you can have 3 fingers acrossways between the horse's skin, chest, here, 3 fingers sideways between the chest and the breast collar, okay? Actually, I might tighten this one up just one more hole on either side. So this comes in a smooth and a rough out, okay, this breast collar. It's specifically designed for my Aussie saddle, but it'll actually work on any particular saddle. I only have one style of breast collar because it's the one I like and it's the one I use every day, so I like to stick to something that works. I hope this helps you out with a little bit of saddle fit and how to adjust your breast collars and why I use a breast collar, guys. We have an exciting sale for the next 10 days only. If you buy one of my Aussie breast collars here, you'll get 10% off one of our Aussie saddles, which is over $300. So a $300 saving with our saddle if you go ahead and buy one of our breast collars. But again, the sale's only for the next 10 days, guys.